Hi guys, I'm working on making a batch of some turmeric sauerkraut. I have a lot of joint pain and I'm hoping that maybe by putting this on a lot of my sandwiches or in rice or whatever, which really tastes good, that it will help with that. So that's why I've decided to flavor my sauerkraut with the turmeric. So I'm going to get going on chopping everything up and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I put it all together. So I just wanted to show you, I took one large carrot and made some really nice thick shreds, and then I chopped that up. And this is turmeric. I just got the little roots like this and peeled them, and I'm actually going to make a tincture with the peels. Why waste anything? And then I shredded them up with the microplane. And I have this cabbage all ready to go, and I'm going to take this cabbage and shred it up and add it to it. I forgot to mention, you should save a few of the outer leaves. You're going to cover your sauerkraut with that while it's fermenting to try to keep it submerged. And I also wanted to show you, I have a bowl here with just about a tablespoon of vinegar in cold water, and I just let it soak in there 5-10 minutes so it gets nice and clean. So I'm going to have to do this in 2 batches because even though this is the big matzo bowl, it's still not big enough for all of the cabbage that I want to make into sauerkraut. So I took half the carrots and half the turmeric and I placed it in this bowl with half the cabbage, and then I put in a teaspoon of salt, and I'm using pink Himalayan salt, a teaspoon of salt for each head of cabbage. And I just want to show you, I found this old crock at a I don't think it was an antique store, and there's 2 of them, and they're perfect for making sauerkraut and other fermented things. And you know, this is probably what they were used for originally anyway. So I'll be filling that right up with my sauerkraut. After you let it sit for, I don't know, around 10 minutes, it's good to go and start squishing it down. And you want the salt to start pulling a lot of the moisture out of the cabbage, and eventually this will reduce almost half of what it was. And at that point, there'll be a lot of juice in the bottom too, and I'll start loading it into the crock. As you can see, it's now reduced down to about half of where it was. So at this point, what you do, sorry about the camera work, I'm trying to get close enough so you can see really good and not let the camera fall in. So I'm going to take a couple handfuls and I'm placing it into the crock, and then every time I do that I'm going to just kind of mush it down and get it juicier, and I'll just continue to do that until the crock's full, and if I have to I'll start another one. Now if you don't have a crock, you could use a mason jar, you could use a pickle jar, you know, one of those big gallon pickle jars, that would work too. It doesn't have to be a crock. I just like using this because I got it and it's nice and it makes me feel connected to my ancestry. So once you have packed everything down in, if there's not enough liquid to cover it, you can add water. But I happen to have some raw whey here, so it's, you know, it hasn't been cooked down or anything. I had made clabbered a few days ago. And so I'm just going to use that, and then it can be a lacto fermentation from that. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and smush things down a little more, and I'll be back. Now as you can see, hopefully, everything is covered with the liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all of that with these cabbage leaves that I saved. And then I'm going to weigh it down. I usually just take another smaller glass jar, mason jar or something, and I fill it with water so it's nice and heavy, and I push it right down. And then I'll cover it and I'll put it in a warm-ish, like around 70 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees spot in my home. And every few days I'll check it and make sure everything's submerged, push it down. And in, I don't know, four days or so, I'll start taste testing to see if it's reached the sourness level that I'm looking for. Once it's done that, I'm going to go ahead and jar it up into some mason jars and put it in my fridge. And I'm hoping that by using that at least probably daily, or at least every few times a week, it's going to help me with my inflammation issues. So that is that. I just wanted to mention one more thing. It's very important that everything stays submerged because it has to be an anaerobic environment. Otherwise, you can have bad bacteria and molds grow. So do make sure that it's covered in liquid. All right, have a great day.